Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast.
Yes, I hope that somebody somewhere is going to be listening to this podcast, because for some reason it is not showing up on my YouTube channel. Oh, wait, there it is. All right, we found it. Okay, now I get to share it. I don't know. You know what? I love Restream, but every now and then it just doesn't do what I need it to do. But finally it's work. Come on. Ah, darn it. All right. I need to edit this. Oh my. Okay, what time is it? Okay, so 10:01. Done. Schedule. Go with my blessing so you will post. Sorry guys, I'm trying to share the link so that people can join the conversation. All right, well, there's one person out there, so I appreciate that. There we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. What a way to come back with technical issues. Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a fantastic New Year. I hope all of my friends out there now are going to see the link, the direct link to the show. There we go. We're up. The viewers have just ticked up. All right, guys. I am so glad you're here. I hope you all had a good New Year. Hello, Robert and Casbah. Thank you so much for joining me. Casbar, I told you I had a friend in Sydney, and I did this to him. I created an annual, hi Dave. I created this annual tradition where at some point during New Year's Eve, I always message him to ask him how 2025 is going so far, since you guys are always so far ahead of us when it comes to ringing in the new year. So I always like to see how 2025 starts down under before it hits here. So anyway, that's our running joke. And it's always good to check in with him. He's a friend of mine. He is a Trek friend. I met him a few years back when I was working STLV, and he's fantastic. And I love hanging out with him. And I love the fact that I also hate the fact that you guys are in summer, and today was our first supposed snowstorm. We actually didn't get hit as bad as some of the rest of the country. Hello, Lasso. Happy New Year. So glad that you could be here with us tonight. So glad everybody's here. Like I said, I hope you all had a fantastic New Year. Mine was quiet. Stayed home, stayed off the street, watched the ball drop, popped some Asti, done. Made myself a nice dinner. That was it. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Hey, everybody. Chris has a new show. I was his very first guest. It's called The Transporter Room. You guys all need to check him out. Definitely need to check him out, especially since he had such a fantastic first interview. So definitely please go support Chris, because as I have said so many times before, there is plenty to talk about. There is plenty of room in the Star Trek. This technically isn't a podcast. I've gotten in the habit of not calling it a podcast. It's a show. But there is definitely room in the Star Trek universe for as many podcasts and YouTube channels that anybody can want. There's so much to talk about. Connor and Dominic were actually on KTLA out in Atlanta, out in LA. And they posted the interview on Instagram, and I watched it. And I'm terrible. Somebody they had on the show was actually on the morning show at KTLA, and they were talking about how Star Trek has reached almost 1,000 episodes. Hey, Travis, how are you? Star Trek has, across all the franchises, they've reached almost 1,000 episodes. So you can't tell me that with 1,000 episodes of content and way more to come, that there is not enough room in the Star Trek universe for as many podcasts and shows as the fans want to give. Just saying. So, before we get into Lower Decks, Uncle Hairball, no, you didn't miss it. So glad you could be here. See, this is why I ramble at the beginning, to give everybody a chance to get here at least before the main topic starts. But I had a really my notebook. I had a really fun day of TV watching today. Work was easy. It was data entry today. I had a lot of stuff to do for the new year. So I literally sat on the couch with Vader on my computer and just put something on in the background. And it turns out I decided to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think it was her fourth or fifth season, the one where the mayor has his big ascension. Well, for those of you that aren't Buffy fans, let me tell you that the mayor was played by, I know I wrote it on my notes, there it is, Harry Groener, which he had 954 episodes. Thanks, Dave. I knew it was 900 and something. Thanks, 954 episodes. Oh, Travis got a rescue cat. You go, Travis. Congratulations on becoming a cat parent. Congratulations on becoming owned by a feline, I guess I should say. Harry Groener has had a remarkable career. So basically, though, if you're a Buffy fan, and spoiler alert, this is what happens. The principal of the high school is played by Armin Shimmerman. Harry Groener turns into this big serpent. And so basically Quark gets eaten by Harry Groener, who was Tam Elrin from one of my favorite TNG episodes, the one with that ship that's actually an entity, and then he ends up joining with the entity. That was him. Plus, he was on an episode of Voyager. Plus, he was on an episode he was on a couple episodes of Enterprise at the end. He was in the technically what everybody would like to consider the end of Enterprise, Demons and Terra Prime. He was the head guy trying to help put the Federation stuff together. That was Harry Groener. But the one thing that I thought was really, really fun, Harry Groener was also in Patch Adams. And for those of you that don't know, Faith of the Heart was originally written by Diane Warren as the song to play over the end credits in Patch Adams. So he was part of Enterprise before he was actually part of Enterprise, but who knew? So not only did I have a really fun Star Trek day on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one thing I did not know that I learned today is Bonnie Friederisi, Tin Man. Thank you, Dave. I knew that episode. Thank you. It was Tin Man. That was a TNG. Did you give her a Trek name, Travis? Did you give her a Trek name? Tin Man. Anyway, Bonnie Friederisi, aka Mrs. John Billingsley, owned the shop where Cordelia worked to get the money for her prom dress. That I did not know until I watched it today and saw her, and I went, Bonnie. Anyway, I'm playing around with some live streams. One of my CB radio guys talked me into it. Okay, Uncle Hairball, this is what I was going to tell you. If you're going to stay free, StreamYard's fine. But if you're looking to do paid, don't stay with StreamYard. I use Restream, and it's a whole hell of a lot flipping cheaper. I thought about going back to StreamYard, but their basic price jumped up from like $20 to $40, and I was like, forget it. So StreamYard's great if you're free, but if you're looking to do paid, check out Restream, which is where I am right now. Because you're going to save yourself some money and still have some. And there are some things I definitely like about Restream more than StreamYard. So definitely should check it out. So what else happened on my TV today that was fun and Star Trek related? MASH. And I basically will tell you if there are always blocks of MASH, and every block of MASH, which is usually 4 episodes, I'm always like, oh, this is one of my favorite episodes. It's very rare for me to say I don't like an episode of MASH. Michael Bell was in a MASH episode called Souvenirs. He played the guy that was selling souvenirs that the little kids went in the minefields and got hurt trying to get him scrap metal. Anyway, that's Michael Bell. You know the voice because he was Grappler Zorn on Encounter at Farpoint. And when I heard him in Encounter at Farpoint, I went, wait, that's Zan from the Super Friends Wonder Twins, Zan and Jaina. But so every time I hear that voice now, I know who he is. All right. The only time I get StreamYard is when they have a sale like they did. See, a fellow YouTuber, the one and only Magic Lasso. That is excellent advice, Lasso. Thank you. Michael Bell is freaking awesome. I met him at the Hollywood show. I thought he was going to be there both days. He was only there on Friday, and I didn't get a chance to give him my card, but I know somebody that knows him. So I'm going to try and get him on the show because he said he was interested. So I'm definitely going to try and get him on the show. I just didn't have any damn cards at the time. 100 Twin Powers activate, and don't forget Gleep. And then, of course, after I got done watching MASH, I was flipping channels, and wouldn't you know it? And I knew it was coming up because I knew that they were at the end of the first season. H&I Amok Time. My favorite TOS episode. Oh, okay, gotcha. Travis, no, unfortunately, I didn't. She's an older cat, and she's had several names, so I just call her Kitty. I wanted to name her Spot. Okay, that's fair. Form of a bulldozer. It would have to be an ice bulldozer, Uncle Hairball. Would have to be an ice bulldozer. So anyway, so Muck Time was on, so I was like, you know what? I wanted to get a couple more things done before I jumped on the air for the first time in 2 weeks. But it was a Muck Time, so I sat and watched it. Love it. But one of the things that always hits me is T'Pau had to find out at some point that Captain Kirk was still alive. Had to. It's not like they were going to keep it a secret. How the hell did she react when she found out that McCoy slipped him the neural paralyzer instead of the Triox compound? Thank you as well, Jenna. Of course, Chris. Like I said, we've all got to support each other, so I am more than happy to do the shout out. There you go. Tell her she's a good kid. Absolutely. Good advice, Uncle Hairball. We're Uncle Hairball in with all the spot quotes from TNG. The other thing that that I think about when I watch Amok Time is you kind of understand after watching Enterprise, the Enterprise episodes with T'Pau, you kind of understand why she turned down the Federation after everything that went on with Starfleet backing the people, the Vulcan High Council that was basically trying to kill her and her people for for following the teachings of Surak. I would kind of be a little put off by that as well. So I can kind of understand why she was, she turned down that Federation Council gig. I can respect that. That's what I always have loved about Enterprise is it kind of fills in some of the blanks on the shows, like the whole Klingon thing. And now you kind of can get where T'Pau is coming from, where she told the Federation no. So I love that. And then you can also understand why when she said, I want to divert the Enterprise, why they were like, yes, T'Pau, whatever you want. Because she did help them out, even though she didn't join them. She did help them out. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Lower Decks because I finally sat down and watched it all in one sitting. That's what I love about not having to be at work and all that. I was just in the mood for a nice long binge of Lower Decks. I'm glad I did it this way. Nothing really got spoiled for me except two things. The Garak Bashir kiss and T'Pol being on the Brit and T'Pol being in an episode. Besides that, I knew about the gel because it was in the trailer. So I knew about the gel, but I did not realize how Enterprise-esque they were going to be with Station 80, and I loved all of it. And I loved the jokes about the gel. I thought those were fantastic. Was that the one that Archer and T'Pol met with after they crossed the Forge? Yes, that is exactly who they met. They met the one and only T'Pau after they crossed the Forge. She was the leader of, you almost want to call it the Resistance, but yeah, she was the leader of the Surak set. That was that was her. Hi, Jean Malo. Thank you so much for joining. And Nancy, no worries. Fashionably late is never a problem. Her favorite ornament is Data's ode to Spot. She thinks he's... Oh my god, that's awesome. Travis, that is so awesome. You know, Vader was sitting on my lap. Right before this whole thing started, and then I was having all these problems, and I think I leaned too close to him because he doesn't have that much room between the desk, and he jumped off, hoping maybe he'll come back. I was hoping maybe you guys would get to meet him. But I think that's fantastic, Travis. All right, so we're kind of going to go episode by episode. I liked the fact that they had these fissures, that for the final... That's right, Jean Malot got 200 subscribers. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. So I like that they had that running story arc through all of it, was these little fissures in time, because it worked really, and space. I love the fact that they were calling it the multiverse. See, Lasso, you missed out. Whole last season of Lower Decks, they were talking about the Star Trek multiverse, which I thought was fantastic. So I loved that whole multiverse theme that was running across it. I love how they met their counterparts. And Boimler. I mean, how many Boimlers do we really need? We've got Section 31 Boimler, we've got OG Boimler, and then we meet another Boimler with the beard in the alternate reality. But you know what? It all works. Shades of Green. Hell yeah, I'm all about the Orion storylines. So I love watching Tendi be more Orion, but still try to be Starfleet at the same time. And the whole thing about how nobody wanted to kill anybody and they all wanted to be ballerinas, or dancers, I should say. I thought that was fantastic. The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel was hysterical. Love the Ryzen feel. Always love, whenever you got a Ryzen feel going on, it's going to be fun. A Farewell to Farms was probably one of my favorites. Klingons. Everybody's talking about Martok, which is always good. But the whole parallel thing to Picard with the vineyard and the blood wine, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Let me see if hold on one second, guys. See if that makes anything better. I thought was absolutely fantastic. No, it really doesn't. Sorry, I'm trying to not be so washed out. I don't know why it's acting this way. Anyway, so I really loved it. And of course, Klingons. Let's see. Of Gods and Angels. Was that a play on Of Gods and Men, which was the fan film? We don't know. But the whole circle cube thing was cute. It was very cute. Let's see. Fully Dilated. Of course, I had that feel to that Voyager episode where the Doctor kept beaming down and living lifetimes. Or that other Voyager episode. What was that other Voyager episode? Where they were so out of phase. So they took Fully Dilated, obviously took some pieces from other Star Trek, which I don't have a problem with. Star Trek steals from itself and does new things. The whole Data thing was fantastic. The whole Data head thing, I love it. They were going out big time. They pulled in all the stops, got all these amazing guest voices. They had Data with the head, I thought was fantastic. I don't know, the co-science officer thing, but I really liked that. I liked that one a lot. Upper Decks. That was interesting. That was the one with her schedule, so I thought that was interesting. Which was the one? Now I'm trying to remember which was the one with Dr. Miglio. I like that we got a Dr. Miglio episode, and I told you before, the fact that they all puffed up, I swear to God, Dr. Miglio was based on Phlox. And they just decided to do birds because you can puff up birds. I thought that was funny. And then, of course, I guess if we have to pick a favorite, I'd have to pick Fisher Quest. You guys all know I have a cheat sheet, right? I did not memorize all these episodes. Because the Harry Kim stuff was fantastic. Watching Garrett Wang argue with himself was great. The Harry Kim thing was absolutely beautifully done. The Bashir Garrick relationship that had half of the internet and Star Trek fans up in arms, I thought was great, just because it pissed so many people off, and I love that. And of course, T'Pol. I mean, the fact that they got Jolene Blalock back. Yeah, that one. Yeah, there were a couple of those wonky, out of sync episodes of Voyager. But I thought it was great that everybody got so up in arms, and people were claiming that they didn't know that there were plenty of hints that Garrick was fluid. Yep, they really did, Robert. They really did. And I feel like they absolutely made up for the fact that I have felt for the past 4 seasons that Enterprise hasn't gotten its due when it comes to that. There have been a couple Easter eggs here and there, but I feel like he was really making up for not doing a lot of Enterprise stuff over the last 4 seasons. With everything that they were doing, the gel, the uniforms, getting Jolene to come back. You know how we got Jolene to come back? By the way, I read an article. He skipped the agents. He went directly to her, gave her the script, and she liked the script. Go figure. And he told her how, he was a fan, about her contribution to the show when she was on Enterprise, how T'Lyn was in a way modeled after her. And she said yes. So, of course, a lot of people are thinking, well, now what does that mean for Jolene's future in the franchise? Well, I think that means that if somebody does a really good script and finds a really good reason to bring her back, she might be open to it. If they go about it the right way. But obviously, A Farewell to Farms was the Dr. Migla. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Yeah, Farewell to Farms. See, it's another reason. It's another reason why I like that episode. It absolutely was the icing on the cake. It was beautiful icing on the cake. They had Trip do that thing for like 5 seconds. In that short trek, whatever, which was ridiculous, but this was really well done. And everybody got they got married. It might not have been in our universe, but there's a multiverse out there where they got married. So it even helped put that right into canon. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for saying yes, Jolene. You made a lot of people very happy. The new Next Generation, I thought, was a fantastic title for the last episode, but it still was not as good as Fisher Quest. But this was the other thing that really kind of cracked me up, and I posted this online, and I don't know if anybody saw it, but seriously, people are saying that they just knocked Discovery out of canon. Why? Because there was a millisecond of a Discovery Klingon, and they were talking about how, the multiverses aren't the prime universe or whatever it was. Literally a millisecond of a Discovery Klingon, and you're thinking because they had that, and then somebody said something about the multiverse and, the prime universe and all that, knocked them out of canon. That's people grasping at straws. Discovery's canon. Sorry. It just is. I find people, like you said, there's Easter eggs, but they're not there. Like, that's dissecting it way too much. That's dissecting it. That's dissecting. Let's try this again. That's dissecting it way too much, in my opinion. They showed and then they're not of this universe. Well, they're of whatever universe, and yeah, I just thought that was, I thought that was a little, I thought that was a little much. But all in all, a really great last season. I would love for it to not be last season. The last season. I know that I have maybe not the popular opinion. I was fine with Discovery ending when it did. I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was a great way to wrap it up, and I felt like it was time to wrap it up. Yeah, of course. But yeah, absolutely. It was not legit, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't just one person. Like, yeah, one person said it, and then a bunch of people glommed onto that, and they're like, yeah, Discovery's not canon. Because there are people out there that don't think it should be. They're haters. We all know that there are disco haters. So it doesn't surprise me that one person glommed onto that, and then everybody else just kind of jumped on that bandwagon. But it's definitely not the case. Not for like a milliseconds worth of that. Okay. All right. So, yeah, no, it definitely wasn't legitimate. I never thought of it. But like I said, I thought Discovery ended well. I thought it was time. So I'm happy with that. But I could use some more Lower Decks in my life. Or another Strange New Worlds crossover. I wouldn't argue with that. Exactly. Lower Decks. Lower Decks. Absolutely. I think people should just chant that every chance they get when they're in earshot of anybody that might have anything to do with it. Yeah, I had heard that she's doing something. She's doing something else. I'll have to start doing a little more digging on that. You know what really kills me though is I literally, like I said, I binged 10 episodes, 5 hours, 10 times that Paramount put commercials in front of me before each episode, and I only got the Section 31 movie once. I was really hoping that I've got a bunch of other show commercials before it started, but no, Lower Decks Section 31 only got one time. And it looks so good. And I love that they open it with Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh, because that's what she is. And this movie looks amazing, and I can't wait. Even if it's only a couple hours of Georgiou, I could use it. Who couldn't use more Empress in their life? I know I could. So I'm really excited. It's going to be here in a couple of weeks. On Facebook, the New York away team, the NYC away team, announced that Paramount is hosting a premiere in Manhattan. If you want to look them up on Facebook, there is a way to kind of if you get on their email list, then then you'll get an email from Paramount. You can RSVP that you want to go. Normally I totally throw my hat into the ring for that. But unfortunately, the premiere is on the 22nd, and the doors open at 5:45, and my real life and my real job are going to get in the way. I can't just up and I mean, could I? Yes, but it's the first month of the new year, and you got to pick your requests for off wisely. So I need to kind of keep those little half days or whatever in my back pocket for other things. Otherwise, I would totally go. Why they're releasing it straight to streaming? It's a lot easier and less expensive to do that, and my guess is maybe the bean counters over at Paramount don't feel like a full theatrical release will work for them. They may not recoup. It's funny, Uncle Hairball. I love that. I just think they think it's a smart move. It's a smart. There are people that pay for subscriptions literally just for seasons of things. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're banking on a bunch of people that don't normally have a Paramount subscription to at least sign on for a month to see the movie. But yeah, I kind of agree with him. I'm not sure a big theatrical release would have worked for this, even with Michelle Yeoh at the front. So because we're diving back, don't forget we're diving back into the Discovery universe, basically. And I kind of agree with what they're doing. I don't think a theatrical release would have worked for this. I don't think they would have gotten their money back out of it. So I kind of agree with them. If that's what they were thinking, which I can't imagine that that's not what they were thinking. If they thought that they could make the money, it would be in theaters. But I think they just figured they're not going to make the money, so they're going to send it straight to streaming and have a better luck getting maybe more subscriptions and more subscribers to Paramount, at least for the month that once they release it. That's my personal take on it. Personally, I am subscribed to Paramount because CBS, and CBS has some of my favorite shows. So when I came in, that's okay, Uncle Hairball. So anyway, so that's my quickie little summary of the last season of Lower Deck. I thought it was great. I thought, like, they threw so much in there with the Easter eggs and the guest voices and the Enterprise references. I could go back and watch all the Enterprise stuff over again. Especially to Paul. Always do that to Pow. By the way, there is this really great song from the 80s called Heart and Soul, and the name of the group is T'Pau. And the group is 110% absolutely named after the Vulcan priestess herself. Look up Heart and Soul if you've never heard of it. It's a great, catchy little tune. Tried to sing it once at karaoke. Epic fail. But, which I have those every now and then, which is sometimes why I just stick with my standards. But anyway, I hope I didn't spoil Lower Decks for anybody, but I figure y'all, at this point, y'all have seen it. It will be missed. It would be nice if somebody picked it up and gave it another season. If not, hopefully, like you said, Tawny Newsom's working on something. Hopefully something else will come of it, because it was such an amazing, stinkingly wonderful, talented cast. I've met a few of them, and they're all amazing and fun. Yeah, there you go. It's a great song. Every time, it's such a jam song. Every time it comes on the radio, I crank it the hell up. I love it. I'm glad to know somebody else out there likes it too, but it's a great song because it is a great song. So did that go through the Skydance media? The Skydance. That could absolutely, Chris, you bring up a good point. That could be another reason why they moved it straight to streaming, because now it's out. Getting a movie launched in theaters is a lot more difficult than throwing something up on your own damn streaming platform. So they got it done and they got it out there. Now that they've got new owners, you never know what's going to happen. Yep, we got SN. Hopefully, if they do a premiere, they did a premiere of Strange New Worlds last time. I went into New York for it. Crossed fingers if they do one that I'll be able to go to that, because that was a lot of fun. And there's this great restaurant across the street from the AMC theater. So if they have it at the same place, I would definitely get tickets, because it would be great to meet my friend. I met my friend for brunch and then went to the show. So I would love to do that again. I'm really pissed. I mean, at least it's only a couple days between the premiere and the streaming release. But but it's so cool to see that all on the big screen. So there is nothing wrong with starting over from TOS. There really isn't. You know what I started over with? I started over with Dexter. Trying to think. Okay, before we go, let's play 6 Degrees of Separation with Dexter. Let me see if I can do this. It's got Michael C. Hall. It's got... Well, I mean, Dexter Original Sin has Sarah Michelle Gellar. And Sarah Michelle Gellar was on Buffy with a bunch of Star Trek people. So, yeah, Dexter's not hard to connect to Star Trek. But I've been watching Original Sin, which is fantastic, and it's just gotten me itching for the original. So I just started watching Dexter again. Oh, duh. Denise Crosby was in Dexter, which I did not remember until I started rewatching it. Denise Crosby was in an episode of Dexter. There's direct Star Trek connection right there. Denise Crosby was in an episode. I request equal time for the late Linda Lavin. Okay. Didn't we do Alice before? If we didn't, I can do that one really easy. Mel, Vic Tayback, was in the Monkees, as was Arlene Martel, who played T'Pring in Amok Time. So that's how I can connect Alice, the show, to Star Trek. Linda Lavin herself, though. Like, Linda Lavin's... Well, I mean, Linda worked with Vic, who worked on the Monkees, and the Monkees had that. So, there you go. Is that good enough, or do you want me to delve even deeper? Oh, Uncle Hairball, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means so much to me, because I wouldn't be here if you guys didn't come hang out with me every Monday, except when I'm on vacation. Plans are definitely in the works for my STLV booth. I have got my plane tickets. I have almost got my booth money situated. So I've just got my hotel room to worry about, and then, eating. But yeah, and I've said, all right, well, you want me to, do you want something more direct, Lasso? I'll try and think of something more direct. I don't, honestly, I bet you, I would not be surprised if somebody who had some connection to Star Trek was Vic Tayback in Star Trek. Why am I thinking that he was in, thank you, Chris, I appreciate that. Darn it. What the heck? I know the name of this episode. Somebody's going to tell me the name of this episode. Piece of the Action. Wasn't Vic Tayback in Piece of the Action? I think Vic Tayback was in Piece of the Action. Hold on a second, Lasso. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm doing the IMDb thing right now, but I think Vic Tayback was in Piece of the Action. I could be wrong. It happens. But let's see. Oh, is there a new Purge? Did I just see something? Sorry, I get distracted very easily. All right, show of hands, who else gets distracted when they're on IMDb? Uncle Hairball, I am sure you will. Ed! Did Ed... Oh, Ed, thanks for hopping on. I was just talking about, there we go! Lasso, there you go. Vic Tayback from Alice was in Piece of the Action. Duh. I forgot about that. I knew he was in the Monkees, and then thinking of him in that suit jumped me back to Piece of the Action. So there you go. There you go. Literally direct connection for Linda Lavin. Thanks, guys, for confirming that so I didn't have to jump on IMDb. I have faith of the heart, Uncle Hairball, that you will make it. And just so you all know, Ed Milner... Oh, go ahead, Uncle Hairball. You raised your hand. Ed, I don't know how long you've been here, but thank you for getting me my ticket, my flight to Vegas. Ed is providing me with his points so that I don't have to worry about my airfare. Chris is a co-sponsor of my booth this year. So, who's the Rebel Gang boss? All right, awesome. Thank you. Now I just need to go down and now I just need to watch Piece of the Action because it was I did love Piece of the Action, so I really do need to watch that. Chris is co-sponsoring my booth. So I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you so much. So there's still space open to sponsor the STLV booth. Just saying. Or if you want to help out, as always, you guys, I so appreciate I so appreciate everything you guys do. You can head over to my store. This is my new store. This is my punkarmy.net store. Punk Army is fantastic. My new t-shirts are soft as butter. Ed's got one. Chris has one. Ed has one. Chris has one. I Am Jen has one. So there are people that are buying my shirts. I love it. So if you want to head over to the store and get yourself a shirt, they are amazing. They are the highest quality. And yes, Ed Milner is awesome, and Chris is also wicked awesome. You guys are wicked awesome, and your support means the world to me. And I can't wait to meet you in person one of these days, Chris. Ed and I have exchanged hugs at a couple of different conventions. So, Dave Gregory, of course. How could I forget? Dave Gregory has one, and they are amazing. I love my shirts. So big shout out to punkarmy.net. They are fantastic. They also do the merch for, yes, they are awesome. They also do the merch for everything, Pop Culture Hero Coalition. Pop Culture Hero Sorry, I'm laughing at something Lasso said. They do all the merch for Pop Culture Hero Coalition, Chase Masterson's 501c3, anti-bullying, and Only for You, Lasso. Fu is somebody from the comic community. I've actually had him on the show, and they are doing Chris's merch as well. Absolutely. Fu is a furry. There you go, Lasso. You can tell Fu I gave him a birthday shout out. Fu is a furry. Happy birthday, Fu. Happy birthday. So you can, like I said, you can pick up your merch from my brand new store hosted by the amazing people at Punk Army. Or if you haven't already, you can join me on Patreon. And depending on your level, which, by the way, I named all my levels after Enterprise episodes. A higher level, you get thank you gifts. I have amazing thank you gifts. I'd love a shirt, but I don't want to have to sell another guitar to get one. Uncle Hairball, you know what? I'm putting the QR code back up. You won't have to sell a guitar. My shirts are incredibly reasonably priced. They're incredibly reasonably priced, but trust me, I also do understand that. Yes, be kind is a huge thing. Be kind is a huge thing, Dave. Yes, I also shamelessly, you have no idea how many, I have so many masks, shirts. I collect the shirts. Every time I see Raymond, I'm always like, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Raymond is the face of pop culture at the events, and they are going to be at STSF. They're going to be in San Francisco. So, all right, guys, I think that is a wrap on my first night back. Thank you all for being here and joining me for Lower Decks. Lower Decks. Hopefully, even though Paramount has new parents, hopefully we'll keep getting more amazing Star Trek and maybe some more Lower Decks. And until next week, everybody out there, thank you again for joining me. I hope we've all kicked off the new year great, and I hope it keeps going well for everybody. And until I see you next week, live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.